the time. I slip on my ass and go, oh, I don't want to wear these anymore. Jon wears them, then everybody loves them.
Yeah, I know.
That was my idea. And then now, oh, get away, Andy. I don't like bucket anymore. Yeah, you know what? I'll show you who's the real bucket man.
He was animated, unorthodox, and loud. Really loud. Andy Johnson was one of the most popular and memorable acts of the Southern California backyard wrestling scene. Always accompanied by his plastic partner, Mr. Bucket, Johnson was a part of some of the most insane moments to ever be captured on a VHS camcorder. This is the story of Andy Johnson, a bucket, and the Southern California backyard wrestling craze of the early 2000s. As documented through the big googly eyes of Johnson himself, childhood friends, and fellow wrestlers. No strings attached. Grab Life and Bucket, the backyard wrestling story of Andy Johnson. So who exactly is Andy Johnson? Andy was an energetic, animated young man born in La Mirada, California, to a school teacher and a middle school principal. Needless to say, he learned at a young age how to manipulate educators. Raised on a typical 80s kid diet of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Ghostbusters, Andy would spend most of his childhood pestering his brothers and making home movies.
What is it?
My phone number is 955-3419.
Thank you very much, Helpy Helper Tim.
It was in the early 90s that Andy would meet the people who would both influence and get him into trouble for years to come. La Mirada Boy Scout Troop 438. It was here that he would meet his future best friends, Dick Anderson and Jon Marcher.
Boy Scouting. As much as I'd hate to admit it, was a major factor in my childhood.
Pretty much that's what took a lot of our time was for the weekends was the Boy Scout trips for the hiking and everything. And so to pass the time of the grueling death marches that we had to go on is Jon would start talking about wrestling.
And it was around these little campfires that I was slowly starting to build my army.
During those long hiking trips, Jon would go on and on about professional wrestling. In 1998, pop culture was knee-deep in the Attitude Era. With acts like DX, Sable, and Stone Cold Steve Austin, it didn't take much to grab the attention of a group of teenage boys.
You can kiss my ass!
And that's how I was able to kind of put Andy underneath my spell and convince him that wrestling was awesome and that he should be trying it and watching it.
That's what really started to pique the interest of all the other guys that, had nothing to do but listen to this guy talk.
Before I tell this Boy Scout story, I'll put out the disclaimer that we were not dorks. Now, Boy Scouts has a lot of dorks, and this will prove my point. And we decided if the dorks wanted to hang out with us, they had to do one of two things. They had to either smash a soda can on their forehead, or they had to let us hit them in the head with a folding chair. One of the two things, and believe it or not, they lined up. And I remember Jon Marcher bashing his younger brother, Tommy Marcher, over the head with a chair, and just thinking, God damn, I'm glad I don't have to initiate myself into this fucking retarded group. Pretty much once we hit Boy Scouts, about 96, it was Jon, Andy, and I, and we were pretty much inseparable.
Jon, one of the times I was hanging out at Jon's house, he actually popped in the tape, and it was a tape of him and his little brothers wrestling and actually doing some stuff. It looked fun because, who doesn't want to beat their little brothers up with cookie sheets and trash cans?
My tail!
Oh! My brothers and I, we would backyard wrestle in my grandma's backyard and in Apple Valley, which was, as you can imagine, there wasn't a girl in sight. So we'd have these backyard wrestling matches with literally my brother Tommy and my brother Steven. So it'd be the same three wrestlers wrestling over and over again, but we would videotape it. And eventually I would bring him down and show a tape to Andy and in hopes of convincing him that this looks like fun.
And Jon asked it, do you want to have a match? And it's like, sure. And that's pretty much what started from there.
Oh my God, what? That sounded like a gunshot. Whoop.
As he's standing there in the middle of the backyard, I told him, hey, keep your back to me, and I'll come in and interfere and take care of you.
Like a moron, I listened to him, and I have my back facing him.
Oh, with the trash can!
And I came and just whacked him as hard as I could on the back of the head with a trash can and sealed his fate.
After that, I knew that I wanted to do this for the rest of my life because I need that chance to kibosh him back with that trash can.
Oh, with the trash can!
It was in 1999 that a birthday gift from Dick's grandparents would set in motion the trio's newest obsession, backyard wrestling.
The day that Dick got a trampoline, I think, was really what sealed it for everybody. We knew that we were in trouble because now I could really get a hold of these guys, start doing moves and power bombs and DDTs. And Dick literally lived, 5 minutes away. So it was really easy for all of us to gather around, get together, for me to do let me teach you this move. It's called a 450 splash.
America, a 450!
We created this game. It just snowballed out of nothing in the backyard. We called it Tramp Wars, and we would bounce, and the rule was you had to fall on your back. And then you could come up kicking, pushing, or whatever you had to do to knock the person off the trampoline.
Oh, and John seems to be down on the ground for a couple of minutes now.
Then, after knocking each other off, we kind of looked at it and really realized that we have a ring now. So then we just went from there.
It was at that moment that Badass Wrestling, or B.A.W., was born.
Yeah, we started having these short little shows, and it'd literally be spur of the moment. We would do spur of the moment shows. We would wrestle as X-Pac, The Rock, Mankind, Undertaker, whatever.
I'm gonna throw his retarded ass through that table.
The filler matches were cool. We didn't predetermine a winner. We would work with each other and take wrestling moves and give wrestling moves, but if you saw the opportunity to knock your opponent off the ring, you would take it, and if the opponent hit the floor, that's how you won. You can't stage how to fall off a trampoline, and you can't predict how you're going to fall off a trampoline. But John was giving me this back body drop, and when he went to put his foot out to get leverage to flip me over, he missed the trampoline. Needless to say, we both went down. John's face tagged the corner of the concrete patio. But that's what we were going for. We wanted the painful fall. We wanted the painful ending, and the fact that it wasn't scripted and we didn't plan it made it that much better.
Jacob, oh no! Oh!
After a couple of those little TV events, we then had the first real event, which was Trampapalooza, which was about a month of planning.
To plan this out, John was living in Apple Valley and I was living in Lakewood at the time. We were getting in trouble from our parents for talking on the phone too much. So we just resorted to writing letters to each other, as gay as that may sound.
Put music together, put storylines together, and have these really elaborate matches, and watching all of us basically just put on a good show and put on these good promos, and something that we really prided ourselves on. It took us about a month or so to really get everything together.
I remember getting my whole family involved in the Trampalooza event. I remember my sisters were cameraman. They would come out. They would help us with skits.
This is a hardcore match. They can go wherever they want in the backyard.
So, it was during the hardcore match with Dick and John, which was the triple threat match, which was the main event for the Trampapalooza, that originally John was supposed to hit me with the fluorescent light bulb. But as you can clearly see, as John Irish whips me, Dick grabs the fluorescent light bulb out of John's hand and hits me over the back to where it kicks up and slices me and gives me 4 to 6 stitches, and pretty much got us in a lot of trouble for doing that.
It eventually would lead to the downfall of Trampalooza. I got in trouble, Andy got in trouble, my brother got in trouble, John got away scot-free. Fucking asshole.
One thing about B.A.W. is there was never, ever any blood. And it's not because people didn't bleed, it's because the camera either got turned off or it was a shitty angle. Anyways, Andy got hit in the head with the light tube and gave him some stitches. And I remember everyone got grounded and in trouble except for me. But that also ended all of our backyard wrestling shows at Dick's house for the time being.
And now, oh my God! Yeah! Folks, Ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. That was Trampalooza. Thank you. We'll see you next time on the pay-per-view.
Andy's parents, being educators, meant they had a schedule that Andy could set his watch to. Now, Andy knew exactly when they'd be home, so it often left a nice window of opportunity to sneak in matches. B.A.W. officially moved from Dick's backyard to Andy's.
Backyard? Oh no! Oh no!
The cool part about there is you can make a mess and no one fucking.
We started doing. We went from a trampoline to bed mattresses, which, in hindsight, it wasn't a great idea. One, because it was a Johnson mattress, and two, because mattresses hurt like hell. You first hit a twin-size mattress, doesn't feel that bad until those springs finally compress. But it was a big backyard, and we didn't feel like we can get caught. We didn't feel like we can get in trouble because wrestling, we were not supposed to be wrestling.
I remember Andy picking me up for a powerbomb in that match. I remember not wanting to take it because I remember thinking this is really going to hurt. And I remember him dropping me right on the back of my head.
Oh, it's a power bomb. Oh, that one looked like it hurt.
It was during this time B.A.W. would recruit two more school friends, Justin Calhoun and Brian Avalos.
Muppet. He had track shoes, I remember, with the spikes on him. And I grabbed the fucking thing and I slammed it against the concrete. And he got pissed, I remember. He's like, "You can't pull him out, you fucking idiot!" And chased me around the whole track. So that's how I met him. That was my impression.
Justin and Brian, they made our group bigger, which was awesome because once they came into our little federation, B.A.W., it made us, it was two more guys that we can watch and beat up. Justin was a little scrawny kid, so he was easy to throw around, and both of them were willing to take their bumps.
And then from there on out, we had two more jobbers, so...
Well, we started branching away from using other pro wrestlers' names and imitating them. We started creating our own personas.
Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Inbreeder Bob. The man who dates his sister. He's got an Apple Valley shirt.
We come up with Inbreeder Bob, which was Brian's, Mace, also Mr. Beautiful, or mine, and then also Buddy the Boy Scout, which is pretty easy for Dick because he wasn't Boy Scout, so...
Buddy the Boy Scout, by far though, probably, Buddy the Boy Scout was... Yeah, I don't want to call it genius because it wasn't. It was just, I respected Dick for having the balls to show up in a Boy Scout uniform.
Scout oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Why are you laughing? 2.
School time was prime fucker on time, I think, for us. So hold on. Fuck, man.
High school for the B.A.W. guys. And we were a bunch of lady killing sons of bitches. Which is a lie.
We were out of our fucking minds, dude, in school. I fucked around a lot. I was known to just be the crazy son of a bitch who would unzip his pants, spit in his hand, and jerk off in your fucking eye, dude. That's just the shit that we used to do, man. We were fucking crazy in school. Crazier even out of school.
We had our own little table in the quad, kind of by the popular people, so hopefully some of the girls might have mistaken us for jocks or something, but for the most part we just pretty much kept to ourselves, and we had a lot of personalities and a lot of maturity levels within this group. I remember that first year, Justin having no shame, and coming to our lunch table and busting out his little finger tech deck skateboard.
All we did at school was talk about backyard wrestling and our backyard wrestling fed B.A.W. We would sit at lunch and literally with a piece of paper we just write down what the next show was going to be. And it consumed our lives. All we did was talk about backyard wrestling in school and make fun of Brian.
And Jon was doing a lot of the work when it came to the backbone because he was actually the brainchild behind the whole idea because he loved the idea of having a chance to beat up his friends every chance he got. So he got to also do all the editing and also all the music where he was getting really good to where it made us more excited to do another show seeing the finished product rather than just being just the matches themselves all the other intricate things of like music videos and then all the things that just made it really feel like you were watching a pay-per-view.
I was the one that was editing all the tapes and basically putting the music together, and for the most part putting the shows together, just trying to think of what would make sense and how things should be run. And but everybody really had their own say. It's just I was the one that was nerdy enough to sit at home every Saturday night and Friday night and edit these tapes down. You know, with B.A.W, we loved it so much, but I mean, we were really just performing for the four of us. You know, it wasn't a big deal. It was just we were having fun. We were keeping the tapes.
In this close, tight-knit group, if you weren't wrestling, you were holding a camera, or you had your finger on the music button. No one really knew just exactly how big backyard wrestling in Southern California was about to get.
Oh shit! Oh my god!